Well, if you want to know how to boil water, we're here to tell you. Just kidding. We're actually here to tell you how to do a boiled egg, because there is a technique to it that David says will make things a lot easier.
It's a method that I found that works, gives you pretty much the perfect boiled egg. But before we start, I have a hard-boiled egg and a raw egg. Would you trust me to crack it on your head if I know which is which?
No, I don't trust you.
You don't trust
no,
me?
No,
okay.
no.
Well, the way you tell is you just spin it. If it spins freely, like that one did, versus wobbly, the one that spins nice and free is the hard-boiled, and this one is raw. So there's your little trick. Okay.
It's a nice trick.
There's two methods that I've found for hard-boiling eggs. One starts with cold water. One starts with hot water. I've actually found that hot water starts better. And
really?
To that, yeah. I don't know the exact science behind it because it's kind of contrary to some of the science, but it does seem to work. So what you do is you bring a quart of water, if you're doing about 6 eggs, just about to a boil, and then you turn it down.
So that's covering the eggs by about an inch or so?
Yeah, that's about right. And you don't want it boiling when you put it in because that's going to knock the eggs around and could break the shell.
But almost boiling. Almost
boiling. And then as soon as you have them all in, you're going to crank that up, and you're going to bring that just under a boil. And it may get close to a boil. And then you're going to cook it for 15 minutes. The cold water method that people like is it's the same situation. They basically put it in cold water, they bring it to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, you turn it off, cover it, and let it sit for about 13 minutes. But I found with that method, the shell sticks when you crack it.
I can't stand that when you have a hard-boiled egg and you're trying to get it off and you end up peeling half the egg white away.
Right, like when my sister says, can you bring 3 dozen deviled eggs? No, thank you. But with this method, it works really easy. I mean, I'd say 95, 99%. They come off really clean. And like I said, I don't know the exact science behind it, but it does seem to work. And the key for the peeling is, 1, if you use older eggs, it always helps. And then 2, you want to cool them down as rapidly as possible. Some other things people are concerned about, sometimes the eggs crack. I mean, sometimes they're just going to crack when they're in there. And if they do, they do. And maybe you don't use the white, but you go ahead and use the yolk, so you have some extra yolk in there.
No, why did you put the salt in?
You know, it's just part of a method I learned from a caterer that I work for, and that was their method. I didn't question it, and it worked. And if it works, don't try and break it. Again, if you do this method too, you normally don't wind up with the kind of grayish-greenish ring around the yolk also. So we go for 15 minutes, and after that, we're going to cool them down.
All right.
So, Robin, it's been 15 minutes. The eggs should be done now. I'm
just a soft boil there. Now I cool them down. I smell vinegar. Is that what you put in earlier?
You do, and I didn't mention it, but what I had used is I used a tablespoon of vinegar and about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt.
And that helps get the shell off?
That's part of what, makes the egg really nice and easy to remove the shell, like you said. So we're going to run cold water over this for probably about 4 minutes. And then I'll show you how we finish them up to get the shell right off. So it's been about 4 or 5 minutes here, and now all we're going to do is we're just going to kind of crack them. We're going to do it under water, and then we're just going to leave them in here, and then we'll peel each one after we crack them in here. So I'll hand you one, and with good luck.
And why do you do that?
I think it just helps to continue cooling it. And if you notice, I mean, look at that. It's coming off in one piece. And I normally do it under running water also, but look at that. Magic.
Magic. There you have it.
And there it is.
The incredible peelable hard-cooked egg.
Perfect hard-cooked egg.